Hi, I'm Gareth Dyton, and I'm joined today by episode 8, and we're here to talk about this fantastic album from this Western Supermare duo. It's going to be released by SWND Records. I suppose the next track we should talk about is Waving Not Drowning.
I think that's one of my favourites. I think that one and Ghost.
That started with me with just the initial loop of the noise sort of looping over the front of it. And I was messing about and sort of came up with that, and I thought, well, that could be quite good with a couple of sort of minimalistic things over the top. And knowing how Maddie layers her vocals, it could sort of build to a nice sort of feeling going through. And at the end, I stuck a little bit of an instrumental at the end of it just to sort of spice it up. But it's I think that worked. Yeah, I think because the piano that you put over the top of it as well was it seemed to work brilliantly. I think it's sort of like it turned the minimalistic a bit more into a sort of a tuneful minimalistic rather than just a noise going through the 18-minute version that I probably originally sent her.
It's such a cool sound, and I think initially it was almost kind of like, well, I need to do something. If I'm going to put any kind of instrumentation on it, I need to match it with kind of synth sounds and things like that. But then I was almost kind of like, no, actually, I think what might be more effective is to have, I mean, it's not a real instrument, it's a MIDI piano because I'm not wealthy enough to have a grand piano, but, you know, to have that kind of like almost organic sound, if you like, the real instrument against that kind of, that I'm not going to try and make the noise because I sound like I'm having a stroke or something, but that, that kind of rolling, you know, noise that goes behind it. And then you have that kind of like quite traditional, you know, I wanted it to be almost folky and almost kind of traditional folk kind of like feel with the lyrics and the melody and everything. And that just, and again, when I write songs, I've always liked the idea that you have certain bits of the song that just keep going throughout. And then you build things over the top, and they might be counter melodies or counter rhythms, but you know, you have this kind of thing that drives it. And I think between that brilliant kind of it's almost like a steam train kind of like sound, and then the piano, I just think it kind of like grounds it, and then again wrote a whole load of spooky kind of lyrics about, I don't know, death and bones and stones and old gods and things like that, which just seem to
family favorites.
And I think there's even again, because you know, my pretentiousness, does my pretentiousness look big in this? I kind of had some, you know, a bit of poetry. I think there's a bit of like G.K. Chesterton's The Donkey in there, because I just think it's a beautiful poem. It was kind of makes me cry. So I'd taken like a verse of that because it just seemed to fit this kind of melodramatic feel. And then this kind of like very different kind of like coda, if you like, where it just kind of gets almost a little bit techno and kind of it's so cool.
Nice.
I've always been uncertain about that ending, really, but more I think in my mind I was going for the sort of the Born Slippy, where the first half is all that sort of mellowness, and then as it turns, it gradually gets into a dance track. But obviously, what I've done is forgot the gradual part and just basically waited.
I know, suddenly mellow.
I haven't got time for this. I'll just whip this on at the end and just see what happens. Like, but so that sort of worked. Not quite Born Slippy, but it seems to
works well.
Change it a bit.
Well, a massive thank you to Ian and Maddie for sort of asking me to actually kind of talk to them and to tell you lovely people out there about their fantastic album in hushed tones. If you've enjoyed actually kind of listening to us chatting, you can find me. Like I said, I'm the co-host on a podcast I do with Grammy Award-winning music producer Lord Toby Wright. It's called My Right Stuff, and there's new episodes out every fortnight, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you get your quality podcast entertainment from. Take care, no stop.